Formulation of paracetamol tablet. So you all are very well aware of the paracetamol tablets. It is very common drug and it is available in almost all type of medical stores. And this drug is very safe and effective, and it is available in various strength. Suppose there are some children's, the dose is available in one maybe up to 125 milligram, but in case of children's or pediatrics the paracetamol is available in syrup or suspensions, and in case of some young patients there may be a tablet of about 375 milligram, and in case of adults the dose of paracetamol tablet is about 500 milligram, and in some cases it is also available in 650 milligrams also. You might heard about the Dolo 650. So it is the most common tablet available nowadays, and it is given after vaccination of COVID-19, either in case of either after vaccination of Covaxin or Covishield. So Dolo 50 is most commonly given after the vaccination of corona. So material and apparatus requires to prepare the paracetamol tablet. First you requires mortar and pestles if you want to prepare in laboratory, and if you are talking about the large scale production, there are various mixers and blenders are available in the industries. And apart from mortar and pestle, you also require some beaker and sieve size up to 10, tablet punching machines, and the hot air roll. These are the materials, common apparatus and materials required for preparation of paracetamol tablet. The chemicals, first you require the active ingredient, that is your paracetamol powder, then lactose, dry starch, and the magnesium stearate. So these are some chemicals required for the paracetamol tablet. In the description, in Indian Pharmacopoeia, it is mentioned that the paracetamol tablet should contain not less than 95% and not more than 105% of stated amount of paracetamol tablet. So if we are talking about 500 mg of the tablet, then this 500 mg of the tablet should not contain not less than 95 or not more than 105% of the stated amount, that is 500 milligram. Let's see the theory of this paracetamol. The paracetamol, it is analgesic and antipyretic. Analgesic means it is used to relieve the body pain, and antipyretic means it is used to lower the body temperature, rising body temperature, and it has no anti-inflammatory properties. The paracetamol is readily absorbed from the gastrointestinal tract, so that's why it is mainly available in oral dosage form. Mostly it is available in the oral dosage form. In case, in some exceptions, like if the patient is bedridden, if the patient cannot swallow the tablets or syrup, then only in that case the paracetamol is also available in injection form, either available in the large volume parentals or also small volume parentals also. The paracetamol is categorized under BCS classification 2. What is meant by BCS classification 2? Means those drugs which are having low solubility and high permeability. So although the paracetamol is having low solubility, but it is solubilized at the gastric pH. So that's why it is given by means of oral administration. The tablets are the solid dosage form containing one or more drugs with or without excipients. So it is available with one or more drug. Means either it may be available in plain paracetamol tablet, or this plain paracetamol may also available along with the other drug like chlorpheniramine or phenylephrine, this type of drug. If you going to purchase the Sinarest tablet, so Sinarest is the drug Sinarest is the tablet which contain paracetamol along with the chlorpheniramine and phenylephrine. So your tablet may contain one or more drug, or with or without excipient. Sometimes the tablet may not require the excipients. and most of the tablet generally requires the excipient in order to bind the powders together, in order to improve their flow properties. So for this purpose, generally most of the tablet contain the excipient. But naturally, if your granules are having very good flow properties, or if it is having very good compression properties, then in that case there is no need to add any excipient. Directly you can prepare the granule of given drug powder and directly available for the compression. Then it provides the greatest dose precision and least contained variability. Dose precision means what? Dose precision means if the stated amount is 500 milligram, then there may be least variation. Almost all tablet may contain the instead of 500 maybe 499 or 501. Likewise, least contained variability means if you compare near about 20 tablet as per USP Pharmacopoeia, if you compare the 20 tablet, there may be variation of about maximum 5%. Instead of 500 milligram, some tablet may contain 495 milligram, or some tablet may contain 505 milligram. So in this way, there is least content variability. Inert material employed in addition to active ingredients means along with the active ingredient, we are also going to add some tablet additives. And what are these tablet additives? First one is your diluents. So diluents are the fillers designed to make up the required weight. Means these are used as a diluent to make up the required weight. Suppose the dose of your drug is very small. Suppose 20 mg or 40 mg of the drug. So it is not possible to prepare a tablet of this much small quantity of the drug. So in that case, if you want to administer this drug 20-40 milligram, then we have to mix up this drug along with some diluents, so that it will be possible to compress into a tablet form. So that's why diluents are very important to make up the volume of the tablet. In some cases, the drugs may be having the dose of about 2 milligram or 4 milligram. Means the dose is very small. If you touch the powder tablet, it on your fingertips, the dose may be up to 200 or 2 milligram or 4 milligram. So in such cases, we have to make up the volume so that the powder may will become compressible. So that's why diluents are very important, and the commonly used diluents is lactose, inorganic dicalcium salts, microcrystalline cellulose, etc. Then binding agent. The binding agents added in dry or liquid form. Binding. What is the role of binding agent? Binding agents is to obtain the cohesive mass. Means if we are talking about the dried powder, mixing of dried powder like the paracetamol, lactose, or microcrystalline cellulose, or whatever it may be, if we are going to compress the dry powder, the tablet may not have a sufficient strength. It may break down. So for this purpose, we have to add some binders. So we have to add the binders. But what is the role of binder? Binder is used to uh, add the or it is used to mix the powders together. That is the role of binding agent. It is used to bind the particles with each other, or the aggregation of powder with each other. That is the role of binding agent. So without binding agent, tablet may not have the sufficient strength. And why the tablets must be having the sufficient strength? Because your tablet have to go through various forces. It tablet may undergoes various vibrations during traveling or after manufacturing. Tablet have to overcome various frictional forces. So that's why tablet must be having sufficient strength. The next one is the disintegrating agent. Disintegrating agent means it is used to facilitate the breakup of tablet. Means once the tablet is taken, the tablet must disintegrate within 15 minutes or maximum up to 30 minutes. So this disintegration power will depends on the additives like disintegrating agent, and most commonly we are going to add the dry starch so that it will facilitate the disintegration. And what is the role of this disintegrating agent? Once you mix up the disintegrating agent along with other ingredient and compress into a tablet form, so this disintegrating agent will fastly facilitates the penetration of power into the tablet. It will helps in the penetration of water into the tablet, and once the water penetrates inside the tablet, it will helps in the breakdown of the tablet, and this breakdown is called as disintegration. So apart from the dry starch, you can also use starch derivatives like clay, cellulose derivatives or alginate also, etc. Next one is the anti-frictional agent, that is Glidant. Anti-frictional means when granules are allowed to pass through hopper into a tablet machine, there may be friction in between the granules, and because of this friction, the required amount of granules may not enter into your tablet machine, and that's why there is need to add some anti-frictional agent, and which is also called as Glidant or the lubricants also. So this Glidant and lubricant will prevent the friction in between the granular particle and also in between the dyes surfaces. For example, talc, cornstarch, silica derivatives, these are some Glidant and lubricants used to increase the flow property of your granular material. Then next, usual methods of the formulation. Once your powder mixing is ready, then we are going for the granulation. Granulation means aggregation of the powder. And why we are going for the granulation? Powder is not having a very good flow properties. Simply, if you are talking about the mixing of paracetamol powder along with the dry starch powder, then lactose, then talc and magnesium stearate. Once you are going to mix all of this powder together, this powder may not having sufficient flow properties. Each and every tablet may not be having same weight after compression. So that's why in order to improve the flow properties, this powder must be converted into the granular form. And in order to convert it into granular form, there are various methods of the formulation like dry granulation, wet granulation and the direct compression. So these are the three methods of granulation, and most commonly or the most widely used method for the granulation is wet granulation method. And what is this wet granulation method? Active ingredient, diluent and disintegrant all are mixed together and blended. Whatever the powdered material you are having except Glidant and lubricant. So Glidant and lubricant must be added at the end of granulation technique. Glidant and lubricants are used to only increase the flow property of your granules. So if you want to prepare the granules, first we have to mix the active ingredient along with diluent and disintegrant. Once the granules are ready, after that you can add the Glidant and lubricant. So first we have to mix the all available ingredient, then solution of binding agents are added. Binding agents, you may add polyvinyl alcohol, you may add a starch paste as a binding agent and mix the powder with stirring, continuous stirring, and powder mass is wetted with the binding solution until mass has consistency of dumb snow. So this procedure is similar as when you are going to prepare chapatis at your home. So if you want to prepare chapati, first you have to add some binding agent into your wheat flour. Once you add some amount of water, then powders are going to aggregate with each other and finally it will form a moist mass. Generally in tablet preparation, we does not require this much amount of moist mass. So how much amount of binder you have to add? You have to press the powder in your palm, and it must be having compressible properties. It must having ability to form a dough, and when you press with your thumb, that dough must having ability to break down. Only up to this point you have to add the binding solutions. There must be formation of a dough, and this dough must be having ability to break down after pressing with the thumb. If granulation is overweighted, the granules will be very hard. So that's why we have to avoid the excessive addition of binding agent. We have not to overweight the granules, and if not weighted sufficiently, the resulting granule will be too soft, breaking down during the lubrication. So that's why we have not to overweight, or we have not to wait, we have to add the sufficient quantity, or we can say we have to keep the binding agent up to optimum condition, not too high or not too slow. Then the wetting mass is forced through the 4 to 8 mesh screen. We are having various size of mesh screen or the sieves. So from this sieve we have to pass this dough, and once you press this dough by using your spatula or by using your thumb, there will be formation of granular material. Then this granular material are placed in large trays and kept in dry chamber, that is hot air oven. Generally we are using dryers are the tray dryer and fluidized bread dryer. So why we have to keep this granule in fluidized bread dryer or any dryer like hot air oven? So that whatever the binding agents we are using, polyvinyl alcohol or the starch paste or water, so whatever the solvents we are using for uh, granulation purpose, so we have to evaporate this solvent, so that finally we will be having dried granules which will be ready for compression. So after drying, granulation is reduced in particle size by passing smaller mesh screen. And after drying granulation, the lubricants and glidants are added. Once the granules are completely dried, then at the end, before compression, we are going to add lubricants and glidants, so that we can improve the flow properties of your granules. Now these granules then compress to get a tablet. Then procedure formula for design of paracetamol tablet. So this is the formula by which we can prepare a tablet. Just look at the first ingredient, that is your active ingredient paracetamol. For one tablet 125 milligram, and for 40 tablet about 5 milligram. If you want to prepare a tablet of 40 batch, then for 40 tablets it requires 5 gram. Lactose 375 for one tablet, so for 40 tablet it will equal to 15. In the same way, dry starch, talc, magnesium stearate and 5% starch as a binding agent. So here you can see starch we are utilizing two times. Dry starch, this will be used as a disintegrating agent, and 5% starch paste, this will be utilizing as a binding agent. So starch is having both properties. If you are using it in dry form, it will work as a disintegrant, and if you are using in a moist form as a paste, then it can be also utilized as a binding agent. So by utilizing this formula, once the formula is ready, then we are going to weigh all the ingredient in the given quantities, that is 40 tablet quantities for 40 tablets are weigh and mix, except the glidant and lubricant. So this talc and magnesium stearate we need to add at the end of granulation procedure. So apart from glidant and lubricant, paracetamol, lactose, dry starch and the starch paste, these we are going to mix initially. Procedure: the tablet was granulated using wet granulation method. And what is wet granulation method? Just look at this video. Can you see this video? Anyone please reply fast. Okay. So initially we are going to mix all the ingredients, active drug along with lactose and dry starch. So in this mortar you can see the mixing of powders, your active ingredient, lactose and starch as a disintegrant, and in this liquid form we are going to add the binder, and binder we have to add very slowly, time by time. Add 1 ml of the binder and start stirring continuously, and we have to continue this addition of binder up to a certain time. So in this way repeatedly we are going to add the binding agent. You have to keep adding and adding, and then continuously stirring. Once you add sufficient amount of binding agent, then take some quantity of granules in your palm and try to compress it. It must form this type of uh, ball, and it must be breakable when you compress with your thumb. Now this is having a very poor properties, means it is not ready to compress, means this granular form is not having sufficient strength. So again, in order to increase the sufficient strength, we are going to add the binder. Again, time by time we are going to add the binders. So when you are going to press this granular ball along with your thumb, it must be having sufficient strength. Again, we are going to check after addition of binder. Again, press it with your thumb. Again, if it is not having sufficient strength, then again you can add the binding agent and stir it continuously so that your binder must be distributed throughout the powdered material. Again, we are going to add the binding agent and stir it continuously. Again, take sufficient quantity of powdered material in your palm and compress it. So after pressing, this uh, this mass must be having sufficient strength. Now this is ready for sieving. Now we can pass this wet mass from this sieve number 12, or you can also pass through sieve number 8, 10 or 12, what you are specified in the pharmacopoeia. Transfer wet mass onto the screen and press it along with your spatula. Start pressing. So once you press this powdered material, there will be formation of granules at the bottom. So when we are going to press this powdered material, the powder are going to aggregate with each other, and this aggregated mass is called as the granule. Then that you can collect at the bottom of sieve. So this aggregated powder is called as granular material. Now this granular material we are going to pass onto a tray for the drying purpose. Spread it uniformly. Okay, this is the overweighting case. When you add more amount of binding agent than required quantity, and if you are having overweighted powdered material, then after drying your granules may become very hard, and tablet may have more strength than the required. If the required strength of tablet is 5 kg, and after overrating, the tablet may be having strength of about 10 kg or 15 kg, and this much hard tablets will be very difficult to dissolve. So that's why overweighting must be avoided. So this is all about the granulation technique, that is wet granulation. Now again, back to our presentation. Paracetamol, lactose and half quantity of starch was weighed and mixed thoroughly. As we discussed, all the powdered material are mixed, then granulated using 5% of the starch mucilage as a binding agent. And we have to add only required quantity of binding agent so that the powder may not become overweighted. Otherwise, there may be formation of hard granules. Obtained the granules were dried at 55 degrees Celsius for 1 hour in hot air oven. After drying, dry screening was done using 22 mesh screen. Means after drying, we have to pass the granule to 22 mesh screen. Rest of the starch powder along with the talc and magnesium stearate were added and mixed. Means when your granules are ready, then at the end you can add the glidant and lubricant. These granules were compressed into a tablet on 8 station rotary tablet. So once the granules are ready, once we add the lubricant and glider like talc and magnesium stearate, then we can compress this granular material using a tablet machine. And here we have written 8 station rotary tablet because we are having this tablet machine in our machine room. That's why I have written here 8 station. So instead of 8, there may be 16 station, 32 station, or as per the requirement of industries. As the number of stations goes on increasing, the capacity of tablet compression goes on increasing. In 1 minute you can compress more than thousands of the tablets also. So let me show you a video of tablet compression. This is the tablet compression machine. You can see these granular materials are compressed in between two punches, lower punches and the upper punch. Here you can see circular devices are there. These are called as the dies, and in these dies your granular materials are fed and it is compressed by the upper and lower punches. In this way granules get converted into a tablet. In this way, depending on the capacity of machine, you may be having thousands or 2000 tablet in a minute. Okay, so this is all about the tablet compression machine. Now once tablet are compressed, now it is ready for evaluation. Evaluation means we have to confirm whether this tablet is uh, safe for administration to the patient or not, whether this tablet uh, complete the requirement of uh, pharmacopoeia or not. So we have to check this tablet for each and every specification. So first specification is hardness test. So we have to check the each tablet for the hardness. Not each tablet, you can take a single tablet from one batch of the tablet. If you check the hardness of single tablet, means your batch will be okay. So how to check the tablet hardness? By using 4 to 5 hardness testers are there. In our laboratory we are having these two types of hardness tester. The first one is the Pfizer, second one is the Monsanto hardness tester. So by using these two hardness tester we can check the hardness in our laboratory. And what is the hardness? It is defined as force requires to break a tablet into diametric compression test. So how much force you requires to break the tablet? That force is called as hardness. The tablet hardness was measured using these two types of tester, that is Pfizer and Monsanto. And the acceptable limit means, what is the acceptable limit for the hardness? So as per pharmacopoeia, conventional tablet must be having the hardness about 2.5 to 5 kg per square meter per square centimeter for conventional tablet like your paracetamol tablet. And for dispersible tablet, the strength is less as compared to conventional tablet. What is meant by dispersible tablet? You might have seen the Disprin tablet. Once you drop this tablet into water, immediately it starts to disintegrate. That is called as dispersible tablet. So in that case, strength of the tablet is less, 2.25 to 2.5 kg per square centimeter. And in case of extended release tablet, means once the tablet is taken throughout the day, no need to take next dose of the tablet. That is called as extended release tablet. In that case, hardness is quite more as compared to conventional and dispersible. It is about 5 to 7.5 kg per square centimeter. And let us see how to check the hardness using Monsanto hardness tester. So this is an example of Monsanto hardness tester. So there is space to keep your tablet in this hardness tester, and at the back side there is screw provided. Once you rotate the screw, pressure on the tablet goes on increasing, and the point at which this tablet breakdown, the time at which this tablet breakdown, that is called as hardness of that tablet. And in this case the hardness is about 3 kg. So in this way we have to check the hardness of tablet. By using Pfizer hardness tester, you can also check the hardness. In this case, tablet you have to keep in this way and press this, uh, both this, press this handle. Once you press the handle, the needle will get reflected. So from this meter you can directly come to know the hardness of tablet from Pfizer hardness tester. So in this way, by using this Pfizer or Monsanto, we can check the hardness. The next evaluation parameter is weight variation test. Means how much amount of weight variation is there from tablet to tablet. So for this, USP have mentioned the procedure. We have to take a batch of 20 tablets and we have to weigh this 20 tablet individually. First you have to take the individual weight of tablet, then take a combined weight of all tablet, and again take the average. Means first you have to take the weight of individual tablet and average weight of 20 tablet, and then you have to compare each individual tablet with the average weight of 20 tablet. Getting it? And the tablet pass the test if not more than 2 tablets are outside of the limit. And what is the limit? Limit is given in this observation table. If the average weight of tablet, means average weight of 20 tablet is 130 or less, then maximum difference allowed is 10%. So the weight variation should not be more than 10%. Means if the tablet weight is 130, then what will be the 10% of 130? That is 13. So weight variation should not be 130 minus 30 or 130 plus 13. So this much is the range for the tablet which is having average weight of 130 or less. Next, if the average weight is 130 to 324 milligram, then in that case the acceptable limit is 7.5%. And if the average weight is more than 324 milligram, then the weight variation should not be more than 5%. So in this way we have to uh, find out the weight variation amongst the 20 tablet, and this will pass the test if not more than 2 tablets will be outside of the limit. And next, friability test. Friability test means it is used to measure the mechanical strength of tablet, because the tablet has more friability and it may not remain intact during packaging, transport and handling. So during packaging, transport and handling, tablet have to bear the various vibrational forces. So that's why your tablet must be having sufficient strength. So after each vibration or after each mechanical vibration, your tablet may undergoes breaking. There may be formation of particles. So in order to measure how much amount of particles formation is there, a Roche friabliator is there to determine the friability. Pre-weight tablets are placed in a friabliator. Here in this image you can see the diagram of this friabliator, Roche friabliator. So pre-weight tablets are placed. Pre-weight tablets means, suppose we can say we are going to take 10 tablets. Take a weight of all these 10 tablets. Suppose each tablet is having 100 milligram weight, and the weight of 10 tablets may become up to 1000 milligram. So these 10 tablets are transferred in this Roche fibrillator, and this Roche fibrillator is operated for rotation, and the rotation of this Roche fibrillator is about 25 rpm. The speed of this Roche fibrillator is 25 rpm, means in 1 minute it rotates for 25 times, and we have to operate this Roche fibrillator for 100 revolutions, means your test will be completed in 4 minutes. In 1 minute 25 rotations. In this way in 4 minutes it will complete the 100 revolutions. So after 100 revolution, how much amount of particles form, that we have to measure. So at the end the test tablets are dusted and reweighed. The loss in the weight of tablet is measure of the friability, and it is expressed in the form of percentage, that is percent friability equal to 1 minus loss in weight divided by initial weight into 100. So by using this formula we can calculate the percent friability. If the loss is less than 1%, generally it is in between 0.5 to 1, or we can say if the loss is less than 1%, then the test is acceptable. So initially we considered that the weight of 10 tablet was around 1000 milligram. So what is the 1% of 1000 milligram? It is about 10 milligram. So when you collect the particles, dusted particles or the particles of the tablet, that should not be more than 10 milligram. Means 1% of 1000. Each tablet is of 100 milligram. So 100 into 10, the weight of 10 tablet is 1000 milligram, and the 1% of 1000 is 10 milligram. So the loss of tablet during friability should not be more than 10 milligram. Here first we have to clean the Roche fibrillator by using a tissue paper, and on other side we are having a group of 10 tablets which are previously weighed. So in this way first we have to take the weight of 10 tablets and note it down in your notebook, and then this pre-weight tablet then we are going to transfer into Roche fibrillator. So before transferring, first we have to clean the dusting whatever present in this Roche fibrillator. So clean the Roche fibrillator by using a tissue paper. Put the tablet in Roche fibrillator after cleaning, and now it is available for 100 rotations. So in this way, this Roche fibrillator start rotating, and after each rotation, tablets are allowed to drop at the height of near about 10 centimeter. So by means of this test, we come to know how much mechanical strength your tablet is having. In this way, we allow it to keep rotating for 100 rotations, and after 100 rotations, remove the tablet, remove the dust from surfaces of tablet, and again take a final weight of all tablet. Again take the weight of 10 tablets after 100 revolutions. Here you can see the weight of tablet before fibrillation, before fibrillity test. The weight of tablet was about 5.455 gram, and after 100 revolution, means after fibrillity test, the weight of 10 tablet was about 5.449 uh, gram. Now we are going to calculate the percent friability, and the required limit is less than 1%. Percent friability equal to initial weight minus final weight divided by final weight, initial weight into 100. So here the friability was about 0.1%, means which is less than 1%. So if the limit is less than 1%, then your tablet will pass the test for friability. In this way, you have to perform the friability test. Next evaluation test is disintegration. So what is meant by disintegration? Disintegration means time requires to break down the tablet. Disintegration means breakdown of the tablet, and for this you require some experimental condition like medium water, speed of about 30 cycle per minute, and the temperature is 37 plus or minus 0.5 degrees Celsius. So why we are going to keep this temperature? Because we are going to simulate the in vivo condition. So 37 is generally our body temperature, and that's why we are going to provide the body temperature, or we are going to maintain the in vivo conditions. And why we are going to maintain this speed, that is 30 cycle per minute? Because always your stomach and intestine always undergoes some contraction and relaxation, so that's why we are going to maintain this much speed. So this is the disintegration apparatus shown in this diagram. Sometimes it may contain a single basket also instead of two basket. Here you can consider only single basket, and this basket is looks like this. There are near about 6 tubes are available in this basket, and all 6 tubes are open at both the end, and at the downside one 10 mesh screen is available, so that the tablet will not enter into outer environment. So initially we have to drop one tablet in each of these 6 test tube, and once the addition is done, then you can fix the basket into the beaker. One tablet was added into each 6 tubes apparatus, and assembly was suspended in the beaker containing water, and time requires to disintegrate each tablet was noted. From this, average disintegration time was determined. And what is the acceptable limit? The uncoated tablet, just like your paracetamol, it must disintegrate in 5 to 30 minutes. So if the disintegration time is less, the drug will release fastly. If your tablet take more time to disintegrate, means it will take more time to show its effect. if you are suffering from body pain or elevated body temperature, then in that case, suppose you are taking a tablet, instantly you will not get the effect. So at least tablet will take some time, 15 to 30 minutes for disintegration, and then again remaining 30 minutes for absorption. So in 30 minutes to 60 minutes you will get the desired effect of your tablet. The coated tablet, if the tablets are coated, then in that case the disintegration may be up to 1 to 2 hours. How to perform this disintegration test? First we have to add the water, and here you can see one coil is provided to heat the water, and the temperature of this water must be about 37 plus or minus 5 degrees Celsius. So here we are going to provide this temperature as a body temperature. We are going to maintain the in vivo conditions. Now take this basket. Once your assembly is ready, then we are going to add the tablet. Here we are going to enter the cycle, for how much cycle you want to operate this disintegration apparatus. Generally we requires to operate it at for 32 cycles. Now we are going to add tablet in each tube. So once this basket going in upward and downward direction, this is called as one cycle. So in this way we have to complete 32 cycles, and at the end of 32 cycle we have to check whether the tablets are breakdown or not. Okay, so this is all about the disintegration. Next evaluation parameter is the dissolution study. The study was carried out using ESP type 2 paddle apparatus. So according to ESP, the dissolution apparatus is paddle type of apparatus, and the type 1 apparatus is basket type. Set the condition, add 900 ml of dissolution medium, that is 6.8 phosphate buffer. Now where we are going to add the 6.8 phosphate buffer, because your paracetamol is having highest solubility at pH 6.8. In your GIT, wherever this pH is available, generally in small intestine, uh, at that pH your paracetamol tablet starts to dissolve. So that's why we are going to simulate the same condition here also, 6.8. Then we have to set the rotations at 50 rpm, temperature 37, that is our body temperature, and for 45 minutes. So 5 ml of the samples are withdrawn at the interval of 5, 15, 30 and 45 minutes. So after 5 minutes, once you start the dissolution apparatus, after 5 minutes we are going to pipette out the 5 ml of the sample and again replace it with the fresh dissolution medium. Then again after 15 minutes we are going to take another 5 ml and again add the 5 ml of the dissolution medium. So in this way up to 45 minutes we are going to take the samples. Then samples were diluted suitably and assay at 249 nanometer using UV visible spectrophotometer, and the amount of drug release we can easily calculate it. The amount of drug release we can calculate using formula, that is concentration into volume of dissolution medium into dilution factor, that is 1000. So dilution factor may vary depending on the time of dilution, for how much time you are going to dilute the medium. Percentage drug release, that is equal to amount of drug release strength into 100. Formulation and comparative evaluation of marketed paracetamol tablet was performed. And after dissolution studies, uh, we have to see that the not less than 80% of stated amount of paracetamol dissolve in 30 minutes. So in 30 minutes, not less than 80% of the drug must be released. Then it will pass the dissolution test for paracetamol. So this is the dissolution apparatus. It is available in our instrument lab also. Dissolution, it is important in drug formulation and developing the quality control formulation. So this is the basket of your dissolution apparatus. We are going to add 900 ml of dissolution media, paddle type, USB paddle type of apparatus. Once the tablet is added, start your assembly. The paddle allowed to rotate at 50 rotations per minute. Once you start rotate, your tablet will start to disintegrate. After 5 minutes, pipette out 5 ml of the dissolution medium. That's it. So this is about the dissolution medium. Assay. The 20 tablets are powder and weigh, and a quantity of powder equivalent to 0.15 gram of paracetamol are accurately weighed and added 50 ml of 0.1 molar sodium hydroxide. Dilute with 100 ml of water, shake for 15 minutes, add sufficient water to produce 250 ml, and then their mixture is filtered. Dilute 10 ml of the filtered to 100 ml of the water, and to 10 ml of the resulting solution add 10 ml of 0.1 molar sodium hydroxides, and again dilute with 100 ml of the water and mix. So this is the assay procedure mentioned as per the pharmacopoeia. And once the powder get completely dissolved, then measure the concentration at 257 nanometer by using UV spectroscopy, and at the end you have to check the assay, and the reading for assay should not be less than 95% and not more than 105%. If assay reading lies in between this